Hi there, and welcome to my weekly vlog. And this is Wow, What a Ride! And all kinds of personal and lipedema simplified and lipedema reflections of what's going on. And I'm so happy to be with you. I'm out on the deck. It's a little chilly, but it's gorgeous. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Um, and let me tell you that it's autumn in New England, where I live in Massachusetts. And the lake, here's one of the trees. Can you see how ablaze and how golden it is? It's right there sitting on top of the lake. Right, I hope you saw that. And here's another one. There's a tree right by the house that's bright yellow. Can you see it? And I'm watching as the leaves are dropping one by one. And all of my plants that I cared for all through spring and summer and early fall, they're all start losing their leaves and getting ready to hibernate for the winter. And as I have to say, it's led me to believe. Oh, hi, Jenny. Let me know if you're here. Hi, Alicia. Oh, Alicia, you've been on my mind. Let's talk. We have to figure out about the pneumatic pump. Want to make sure that you're able to use it. Okay. So autumn, the change of seasons. It, it's gotten me to think about the seasons that we go through with a chronic disease, with having lipedema and lymphedema, or if you even just have one. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Kim. Um, so this is this week coming up. I have a big event that's coming up. Not for anyone else, just for me. But it is for me in my life a big event. I'll tell you. As if you're here and you're not brand new, you've heard me talk about having been very sick. And if you've been along with me over the past couple of years, you've seen me very sick. You've seen me really sick. The short version is I took an in November 2022. I took an airline flight from Boston to Charleston, South Carolina, and my lymphatic system broke. Now, I believe it was you know, underlying for a long, long time. And that was just the over the top. That was just enough pressure that my whole system just went bonkers. As it was happening, or when I realized it was happening, I thought it would go away. It was just the airline flight. I went through this whole thing until finally it became clear that I had significant obstruction to my thoracic duct, that my lymph system wasn't flowing, that the thoracic duct is the main conduit for lymphatic flow uh, and so it was a very long and very long journey. And I'm sharing this again, and I share it more than, you know, I share it quite frequently because whatever it is for you, there's something for all of us where it seems like it's insurmountable, right? Isn't there something that seems insurmountable, whether it's mobility or whether it's pain issues or whether it's the fact that for so many of us, um, the volume keeps increasing no matter what we do. I gained 80 pounds in a couple of months. I literally gained 25 pounds through the flight, which was just a weekend. I came home and people didn't recognize me. I had blown up so much. So so I had an obstruction to my thoracic duct. The lymphatic fluid kept collecting in my tissues. I kept expanding. I kept gaining weight. It didn't look, I couldn't, I could go on and on. I couldn't breathe. Come to find out, it's what's called central lymphatic issues. So, central lymphatic dysfunction is the official title for it, which, if you think the doctors know little about lipedema and lymphedema, you should see how little they know about central lymphatic dysfunction. Next to nothing. So, I ended up having surgeries, two surgeries. Only one doc, an interventional radiologist at University of Pennsylvania, and he had um, a plastic surgeon that worked with him for the second surgery. Oh my God. Hi, Marilee. Hi, Julie. Oh, 85 in Camarillo. So Julie says, what am I doing this week? So one of the things that happened, so part of what happens when there's a sort of a backflow of lymphatic fluid, it's not moving, it's not leaving, it stays in your system and it builds up a kind of toxicity and sludge. And it actually, and part of the reason I blew up is because a lot of it went up into my head, into my brain, into my face and neck. There are a lot of lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes along the neck and this whole area and in the head. Um, it led to discovering the work of Dr. Raymond Perrin and Dr. Perry Nicholson, the big six that we all talk about. Anyway, through this whole thing, what happened is last year, when I was at the height of being sick, I got in two car accidents because I fell asleep, I passed out, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, at the wheel while I was driving. I was consistently falling asleep, or again, I sometimes think of it like passing out when I was in meetings. In meetings, it was like a pretty consistent thing. God bless. I love Isla so much. She took a whole series of photos of me like this. It's, when I look back, thank God I have a sense of humor. Thank God. Hi, Patsy. Thank God I can laugh at the whole thing. Or it's not even laugh at it, or take it as part of a very complex learning journey. And it is a learning journey. So I did a lot. I did diet. I did as much as I could movement. I did um, all kinds of. Dr. Perrin came into Boston maybe 2 years ago, I think now, and started to work with the Perrin technique. Started to work with Dr. Perry's The Big Six, which is self exercise, clearing the lymphatic system, and then started to drive. I could not drive. I have not driven in over a year. but I hired someone to drive me down to New Jersey, which is a 10-hour trip, 10, 11-hour, whatever, um, to see Dr. Perry. And lo and behold, it took what I now think happened. Okay, I'm getting to it. I promise I'll tell you what's happening this week. Um, but what I think happened is the lymphatic system through the obstruction in my thoracic duct, what they call it an occlusion, stopped my lymph from flowing, and it just backed up. And the only place it could go was in my tissues, which is called the interstitial or interstitium, and it just kept increasing and increasing. And so finally, I did have surgery. I'm trying to think if it was a year ago. Must have been in 2023. So that's 2 years ago. So I had surgery with in October of, I guess, 2023, and that was supposed to clear it up. While it did, in fact, remove our the obstruction because they did it surgically, my lymph still wasn't flowing. And I did MLD, and I did, the pump, and I did a bunch of things. It was finally working with Dr. Perry that moved it. And it was only maybe 5 or 6 months ago. And it was, so I worked with him. Now it's been 14 months. And it was such a slow process. When I look back on it, it was that you have to go gingerly with lipedema and lymphedema. You can't expect it to clear up overnight. It just doesn't behave that way. Silly, silly lymph, but it doesn't. And it takes time. Again, I started out by having these reflections as I'm looking at the trees changing and what happens, over an entire year where I've watched the trees go from full bloom to losing their leaves in autumn to having, winter to spring and then summer again. So it seems to be a natural process of nature. And interestingly enough, I've begun to believe that that's so for our bodies, my body particularly, that there is a natural healing process. So, anyway, about whatever 5 or 6 months ago, it shifted. I shifted. Well, I was leading a group, and someone in the group said to me, "You're back. It's so good to have you back." And I am back. I was back then, and I've been getting back more and more. And anyway, so I began to work on getting back to the pool. That is my favorite movement. And I need transportation to get there. It's not easy. It's only 15 minutes drive from my house, but I'm not driving, and it just didn't work. Essentially, to either use an Uber or a Lyft or to hire someone, it's all too complicated and too expensive. So anyway, I started to search, and I realized that I was feeling well enough that I could possibly drive again. So I started that process. And that process is leading me to, I had one driving evaluation at my house. Occupational therapist came and did an entire, I think it was 2 hours worth of cognitive testing, sight and movement, and making sure that I could, use the gas pedal and the brake, and it was all this stuff, and memory tests, and I passed. with flying colors, which I felt like that was happening. Well, this week I'm going for the behind the wheel test on Thursday. The behind the wheel test is 2 hour evaluation behind the wheel. So if all goes well, I'll have the okay to start driving again, which I will start doing pretty immediately. Um, and so here's my bottom line. There was a point during this entire journey where I did not think, did not believe there was a way out. I did not believe. I was certain that I was heading downhill. And in fact, I was. But here I am, not only feeling good, but feeling vibrant and feeling grateful and feeling so um, I guess grateful is the best word. Feeling kind of that it somehow, if given the support, the body will move towards healing. And that's the thing. It's a long reflection today. You're hearing all of the inner machinations that I go through, thinking about how to live with a chronic disease and how it's not, that's not it even. It's not living with, it's thriving with it. It's how to really live your best life. I use that phrase a lot in our webinars. The other thing, and I feel like, this is a very special time, but we got the proofs for the textbook. We are just in the last parts of the editing for the very first textbook medical textbook on lipedema. I should put the link. Let me go get the link. I have to go to Amazon. Give me a second. I'm going to get the link. And I spent Friday and most of yesterday and most of this morning um, finishing up the edits that I needed to do. I have a lot of edits. Um, Here it is. I got the link. Give me 1 second. Unbelievable. Okie dokie. I'm on my way back. Here I am. I'm putting this now in the. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Yeah, everybody send prayers and lots of love for my evaluation. Okay, here is a very long uh, hyperlink so that I can share with you, which I have done, I think, every week in this process because it's so amazing to me. And here it is. Lipedema Principles and Practice of Diagnosis and Treatment by Dr. Stanley G. Roxon, Dr. Leslyn Keith, Dr. Catherine Sayo. We are the editors. And oh my God, when I look at this, I am amazed. We've been working on the book for 3 years. It's hard when people say that, but it's true. It's like we started. I just have to see where we are. Oh my God, people are buying the book. We're number 6 in medical diagnosis books. Here we are. That means people are buying the book. Oh my gosh, it blows me away. Totally blows me away. You have to come celebrate with us. I am, okay. Oh, the browser didn't work. Oh, And all right, here. This is what it looks like. You got to go and get it in the chat because you'll never, know this. But you can put the title. You can go to Amazon and you can just put the title in. And here's the title. It's really simple. Lipedema, Principles and Practice of Diagnosis and Treatment. Okay, here it is. There it is, lipedema, principles and practice of diagnosis and treatment. If you go to Amazon and put that in, you'll get to the book. So I think this is a week, between finishing my part of the edits, which has been, I have a background in graphics, and so I'm finishing updating all the graphics, and then I need to go through the entire manuscript. I find all kinds of little edits, little things, little typos, and then the publisher has her editor and her typeset. Oh my God! Hi, Lisa. It's so good to see you. Welcome from Iowa. So, my driving test is on Thursday. If everything goes well, the following week, towards the end of the week, I have access to someone's car for a week or 10 days. I'll start going to the pool again. And I feel like that's a major movement. I'm already, this is usually when I click off, but I want to say something else, which is that I did a workshop with Misty Tripoli today. Misty is, she's this far out, amazing woman who started a movement called Body Groove, where she says really simply that, our bodies are made to move. They're made to dance, but not dance in the way like you got to learn choreography, but just move. So I have to say, as I watched everyone, there were about 70 or so people on Zoom. A lot of them, most of them younger than me, and moving around. And well, I could do my upper body. And by the end of the 4 hours, I actually tried, dancing again. Never thought I would be able to dance again. Uh, it wasn't exactly. This is more like movement, but it was amazing. Oh my God. I felt so just to even begin that process. So, anyway, that's what's happening. That's what's going on this week. Um, thank you. Oh, Marilee just got to the pool. And Julie says she can dance in the pool at 80 years old. I'm going to give it a try, Julie. I'll let you know. Much love to everyone. I'm signing off. And we have the Inspiration Corner, which is the artsy fartsy, which is going to start up in just 5 minutes. And it's for our tribe members. And so take care. Have a wonderful week. Have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And much love, many blessings.